How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and if you've spent some time playing single-player Don't Starve, you've probably encountered one of Klei's official mods for the game, that being the Screecher. What fewer players realize, however, is that back in the early days of Don't Starve, before Reign of Giants was even a thing, Klei released a second mod for Don't Starve that's colloquially known as the Lost Fragment. Although, if you installed it, the mod showed up as 5 question marks, and unlike the Screecher, which says it's published by Klei Entertainment, the Lost Fragment has Mr. Skits credited as its author. Mr. Skits, of course, being the small serpent-like shadow creature that can be seen flying into obelisks as they are raised and back out again when they are lowered. The Lost Fragment also didn't receive the type of promotion from Klei that their The Screecher Total Conversion mod did. So if you weren't active in the Don't Starve community back then, during the early development of the game, it's quite likely you've never played or even seen this mod. My attention was directed towards the Lost Fragment by another Don't Starve player with whom I regularly play Don't Starve together with. I had of course previously heard of the William Carter puzzles and had briefly read through them, but was never so invested that I bothered to download the actual mod for the Lost Fragment. However, a couple of days ago I realized that I needed to play this mod at least once. After all, how is it fair that I've used and promoted dozens of third-party mods at this point, but never myself played one of the defining experiences related to Don't Starve's backstory? This had to change, but was it even possible in 2018? After downloading the mod from the puzzle page, I carefully placed it in my mods folder and attempted to enable it, but the game crashed. Very well, I thought. I still have one of the old Humble Store installers for Don't Starve back from the All's Well That Maxwell update, so I dug through my downloads archive of years past and finally produced a pristine time capsule of Don't Starve history. But would it install? Of course, but enabling the Lost Fragment was still impossible as it crashed my game yet again. I was somewhat dejected and also disappointed that a mod made by the developers themselves and such a part of the game's backstory was allowed to fall into such disrepair. However, browsing through the Don't Starve single-player mods on the Steam Workshop restored a trace of hope when I found a kind soul who had taken it upon themselves to fix the broken mod and upload it for anyone interested. Fair warning, mod spoilers ahead. If you'd rather experience the mod firsthand for yourself, check the link to the mod in the description of this video and play it before continuing this video. At first glance, the mod doesn't appear to do much. If you check the magic tab in your crafting menu, you'll see a new structure available for crafting, the Shadow Portal. You can craft an unlimited number of these for your world, although it doesn't appear to be possible to ever remove them once built. Clicking on the Built Shadow Portal will present the player with a prompt, asking them if they'd like to use the device. Of course we do, after all, what could possibly go wrong? If you activate the portal, it will generate a new shard for the world, similar to how caves are generated, and once finished, you'll find yourself on a small island arena consisting of a chest biome floor and a few spiky trees and rocks. It seems it's not possible to map out this island as the map never updates as you walk around it. Close to the center of the island is a skull chest, which, if opened, contains a dark sword and knight armor and begins the boss fight. A Shadow Maxwell appears, who also has a dark sword, in addition to the ability to create shadow clones of himself during the fight, and a telelocator staff that can summon meteors to damage the player. It's also not possible to bring items into this world or back out, so you'll need to utilize the resources at hand to win the fight. Although if you lose, you will simply be returned to your existing world without losing any of the progress you made so far, similar to the adventure mode. While this can be considered a boss fight, it's overall not especially difficult, and providing you are somewhat competent at kiting to avoid enemy attacks, it's more than possible to defeat the Shadow Maxwell after a couple of attempts. A second suit of knight armor also drops during the fight from one of Shadow Maxwell's clones, which you can use if you have already taken too much damage and broken your originally provided armor. After defeating Shadow Maxwell, a small phonograph player will appear, which the player can activate. When activated, it will produce a string of Morse code, which, when translated by people smarter than myself, spells out the word exordium. It turns out this is a password needed to unlock a hidden video on the Don't Starve website. The video provides footage of what appears to be Maxwell's final magic performance, during which he's abducted by capital T them, and the stage is destroyed. After listening to the phonograph player, there is nothing left to do in this alternative dimension, and you can approach the shadow portal again and click to activate it, which allows you to return to your home world, where you will find everything as you left it before entering the portal. So in concluding, the Lost Fragment is available to those who care to experience it still, although you'll need to use the fan community version, as it appears the original is no longer compatible with most available installers for Don't Starve produced within the last few years at this point. If you are someone who cares about the backstory and haven't played this mod yet, you should totally check it out, and if you happen to have an installer that allows the original version of the mod to be played, I'd be interested in hearing from you. Which version of Don't Starve was the last compatible one with the mod? Regardless, all the relevant links to the resources referenced in this video will be in the description below as always. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.